And here we are. I'm public now. So this is my first time streaming. My name is Taiwan Tim. I'm in Taiwan and my name is Tim, so I call myself Taiwan Tim. So I'm gonna do these live streams hoping to get myself to write and edit more often so that I'm not just, being lazy, not getting things done. I'd like to start with what you see here on your screen, which is the project I've called Boris. It's the name of the guy in the name of the main character in this short story. Boris is a battle mage, and what is a battle mage? That's what this short story is kind of about, what he's doing and what happens in the end, which is kind of fun. So, what to say, what to do. This is my story that I came up with a couple years ago. A couple years ago now, and I just really spent a lot of time building on it. This is the third draft that I'm on, and that's what I'm going to edit today. Maybe not edit so much, just kind of chat and introduce what's going on. More with, Anyways, let me read the outline. So the outline says a prestigious battle mage is dialoguing with himself in the beginning, trying to distract himself from his plight of having to relieve himself with no privy in sight. So he has to go to the bathroom really bad. That's what happens in the beginning. And then after he goes to the bathroom, eventually, it does happen, he goes to the court. Well, not really the court, the clergy's church or whatever, clergy building, about a big problem that's happening in the local area. He was summoned by them to help with the problem, so he goes to meet with the authorities so that he can discuss with them what they plan, what they want, and kind of a little dialogue there about magic and just sort of open up the idea in the world of what is possible and what's going on in this world, and why a battle mage exists, because that's not real, but it is in this world that I'm making. So the battle mage is given his quest by the clergy there, and then he's just sort of is given a task that he has to go to a nearby forest to take care of, and then he meets a foe, and he battles the foe, and then that's that. I'm just gonna check what's going on with my stream right now. Looks pretty good. Earlier I was doing some testing, and there was a lot of mouse problems. I realized there's a humming problem. It's really annoying. I'm trying to get that figured out. Maybe I have to buy a better microphone or something. I'm gonna try to share this. I'm gonna have to open up another program on my computer to share this with my friends so they know I'm live, because I don't currently have a way of telling people without doing this. So let me just log in there, and then I'll be able to let them know. I hope that my personal information is not showing up on my screen. It's supposed to just capture the writing, the word processor that I've got going on, this editor called Easy Edit, I guess? No, Smart Edit. Easy, Smart. I guess I'd rather have Smart than Easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and paste the stream link for them. Wow, it's in the language of Thailand, the link. Or at least it shows like this box that's in Thai, the Thai language. I guess it's just called Thai, right? So, or maybe not, I don't know anything about that language. But anyways, I'm doing this stream so I can get myself to talk and write and think and process and just really get this hobby back on its feet, because I have so many ideas in my head, but I don't really do anything with them because I'm lazy or I'm afraid to get it out there and be rejected. But I just want to start editing and, chatting. If people show up, then that's fine and I'll chat with them, but if not, I'm just going to talk as I write. Usually I'm working at this time, but today's my day off, so I'm going to try to do this every week on this day so that I can do it regularly. The problem is that this audio problem with the audio being so bad, might have to throw some money at a microphone, maybe even a streaming camera. It depends on if I'm really consistent with this project. But I'd really like a background for myself. I'd really like to figure out how to put the chat over the. Actually, I could probably do that now. How do I get the chat? Oh, I can't figure out as I stream. That would be really kind of inconsiderate. But I should figure out how to get the chat on the screen so if anyone does talk, I don't miss them talking. I guess I can just open my YouTube, so that works. I have no viewers, which is fine. I'm just gonna do my thing. So I'm here in this classroom. It's really comfortable and quiet, except for sirens sometimes. We live right near a hospital, so sometimes there will be a siren in the background, but that just adds a little flavor, right? I don't have to worry too much about things I can't control, right? But what I can control is this story, and that's not why I write. I'm not writing because I really like to control things. I'm writing because I have these things that come up in my mind, these ideas that I can't get rid of, and they really just build up, and then they die if I don't do anything with them, and I just forget what I was going to write, or I forget the story. These characters are born into my mind, and then I just let them die. So I'm trying to let them mature this time, let them grow. And the ironic part is that some of my stories, my characters die. I don't like to kill off characters for no reason, but I do like to kill them off if it really fits the mood that I'm trying to set. So what is the mood of this short story about Boris the Battle Mage? Well, the mood is just a little silly in the beginning, like someone having to go to the bathroom but not being able to is kind of like potty humor, right? Literally. But I thought of this long ago. I wanted to start somehow with him talking to himself, but being kind of in a rush. And what makes you want to rush more than having to go to the bathroom, I guess. But he also was drinking a lot. So he's drinking a lot, he has to go to the bathroom, but he also has to go to this important meeting with the clergy, and in order to do that, he has to find them, but he's new to this town and stuff like that. So we'll get into that. Just want to explain a little bit what I'm trying to write and what's going on in my story. So Boris the Battle Mage, I had a picture. I think I can open it. I don't know if it'll show on the stream. It doesn't show in the program, it shows on my computer, but I wonder if it'll show on my stream. Doesn't look like it, but I can probably add it to a window capture. What is that program called? Photos. It is Photos. There we go. Easy. Okay, I've added it. It's humongous, but this is Boris the Battle Mage that I've got going on. This is just sort of like, I found this on the internet. I didn't make it. I don't know who made it. It just is a beautiful representation of what I've imagined in my mind Boris would look like. Although I didn't make it, right? So I didn't, I don't know quite. It doesn't exactly represent what I'm trying to write about. But actually, I can probably put this in the middle. Let me make it smaller so I can see what I'm writing. Well, that's really small. Right above my picture, same size as my camera. But the problem is, I wonder if I can close this outline and then also have, do I have notes? No, I just have draft 1 and draft 3. So I'm going to open draft 3. I can't move. Maybe I can move it over like that. Yeah, that'll be nice. So if I move it over like that in the stream, will it be covered by the picture? We'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a little bit of delay between what I'm doing and what's being shown on the screen, which is really good, I think, because you never know what'll happen. Maybe someone will come in here and try and knock me out with the butt of a pistol. I don't know. Crazy things have happened. Crazier things have happened, I'm sure, on streams. I was streaming this time last year on a different platform, but I'm trying YouTube now because I've become more familiar with it over this past year, and I really like YouTube, especially YouTube Premium, because no more advertisements. That's great, but also like it's I don't know, it just feels right. I like Google, I like YouTube, I like the program. I have a relative that works for Google and specifically works on YouTube, so for whatever reason I've decided to stream on YouTube, and we'll see how that goes. If I get anyone. So here's the beginning of my story. It's kind of bad. Let me try to find actions and tools. I want to change the visual colors because it's kind of hard to see on the stream. So I was looking earlier at a blue one. Blue was okay. It's a lot brighter, which is good. What's Money Twins? A little nicer blue. So we'll go with Money Twins. I don't know what that has to do with the color, but whatever. So blue is definitely brighter and easier to see on the stream, so I'll probably keep it that way. What I'd really like to know is how I can get people to know. I guess I have to schedule the live stream so that people can be aware of when it's going to happen. They can prepare for that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be talking to myself, which is not the worst thing. But I'm talking to myself as if I'm talking to people, so that when people do come, that they are not weirded out or anything by someone talking to themselves, which is actually kind of odd. But in this context, I want to be talking as if I'm trying to talk to a person who's listening and cares about what I'm doing. But I'm going to make the size of the words bigger so that you can see them, which is also important for me, since I don't... oh no, I just briefly showed the end, which is the worst thing possible. Why would it do that? It goes all the way to the end when I change the size. Maybe I could have done something like this and then done it. Oh well, it's done. It's done. Can't change it. Although if I caught it right away and stopped the stream within 5 seconds, then maybe I could have gotten away with it. Trying to kill a mosquito. Anyways, let's see how I think it looks good on the stream now. It's a little bigger. Let me make this full screen. Yeah, it's a lot better now. Although the quality of the stream is only 720. I wonder why. Is that because of my computer? Or because of I'm not like superb premium YouTube. I have to use superb premium YouTube to use a higher quality of streaming or something. Or maybe it's the internet. It says I have an excellent connection, which is really nice. Where I'm at, it's great for work and great for streaming, so that's great, as I've said. But it is streaming in 720p, which is not as good as... Maybe it's the camera problem. I bought a camera that goes inside of a desktop from Elgato. Or no, it's a little USB stick that goes connected to your... You connect it to your SLR camera, but I realized later after I bought it, it was quite expensive, that it doesn't work with my SLR camera because my camera is too old. So I can't use that, which is really annoying. It was a really high quality thing, and I wanted to start streaming last year, so I bought it. But now I can't use it, so I have to use the built-in camera, which is why the quality is kind of bad. I'm using this crappy, cheap headset that I'm using. I'm using it. I said that. I'm using it, so it's crappy because I bought it just randomly I was gonna do some work online with some video calls. It seems to work fine for my job, but it's kind of annoying for streaming, the humming sound. I have to figure that out. At least the mouse isn't freaking out like it was when I was preparing the stream earlier, because it was like flickering a lot on the bottom, which is really distracting. So anyways, without further ado, or without more babble about streaming in general, I'm gonna read a little bit of what's going on with Boris the Battle Mage in Draft 3, which is, it's been a year or two, maybe about a year and a half since I first originally thought of this. And the reason I thought of this is because I was making a trilogy, a fiction, fantasy fiction, not fantasy fiction, a fiction, a 3-part fiction story that is huge and vast in scope and characters and world. And it was just so hard to get into because it was so complex, and I couldn't really I couldn't plant my feet enough to get moving forward. So I did write quite a bit for NaNoWriMo 2018, but I'll have to go back to that. But I wanted to get a feeling for the world before I even started, because I have these ideas in my head, but I don't know how they're going to come out on paper until I do it, especially after I edit it when it looks good. Now, I've given this to a few beta readers, this Draft 3, and I got some feedback, and actually some feedback that was really quite good and that requires a complete rewrite, and not just some editing here and there, but a complete rewrite, because this short story is great on its own, but I didn't write it for I wrote it as a chapter within the bigger project of the same world. So it feels like a chapter. It doesn't feel like a short story. It's not structured in the same way as a short story. Now, if I was going to keep it just a short story, I would rewrite it in that form and then make a compilation. I would make a compilation of short stories so that I could sell that way or something. But I'm not making a compilation of fantasy short stories. I'm making an actual, hopefully a novel, a first of many novels within this world about multiple characters. Boris is one of them. He doesn't stick around very long, as you'll find out. He's actually quite near retirement, so that's good for him, and you'll see what happens in the end. It does say in the notes that I showed earlier that, or not the notes, the outline, that he is relieved of duty. So you already know how the ending kind of goes. You start the chapter with him, and this will be like, this might be at the beginning of the huge project itself, or it might be towards the middle or something. But it shows easily, at least what I've written so far, it shows easily what kind of world the reader should expect. The physics are the same as our world, but not really in some cases. There's magic, right? So when dealing with magic systems, I find it easier, not just easier, but I find it more to my liking to not be so specific about where the magic is originating and how it works exactly, and getting really deep into those structures and details. But I just let it happen. And in the bigger project, there is magic that will be explained because it's so bizarre and it's brand new to the people who are in the world, who have been in this world for, centuries, I guess, but without it happening. But now that it is happening, it will have to be explained. And it will be, but in this chapter specifically, it's not explained. It's just assumed that magic exists in some part of the world. Some people have it. Specifically this battle mage who comes from Belgranth, which I wanted to make a name for the place that he's from, like to be grand. And so I thought of a bell, because bell towers are famous in large cities. So it was going to be a grand city, but it's not a city that I write about in the project. I don't think I will write about it at all, or even reveal much of it, just that that's where battle mages are and train or something. But it's I'm making an actual globe for this story, and there's multiple continents. The story is spread over 3 continents specifically, and Belgranth is not on any of them. It's on some other continent. So battle mages are known to all the people on, or to each continent, at least 2 of them. Belgranth and the battle mages from Belgranth are known of in those other continents, but I'm not sure how I'm not sure if I wanna, go into detail about it, because that is really not the magic system and the coolness of that. While they're interesting, that is totally not the mood or the point of this huge project itself. The point is something completely different, and it's something very special to me, so I feel very passionate about it, and it's hard to explain really short way. It's actually so hard that it has to be written out in a story, and I've had these characters in my mind for so long. Boris is such a small character amongst the number of them, but he's important. So let's talk about him a little bit. Boris of Belgranth thought to himself as he trudged through the rutted streets of the city-state of Glib. Now, speaking of names, the place he's going is a small, while it's a village or town that has a clergy base or a base of operations for the clergy, so it's big for them, but it's in comparison to other cities on other continents, it's rather small. And I wanted to catch that feeling with the name of it, which Glib, Glib is like silly or funny or something. That is the original meaning, but I don't think I'll keep it Glib. I think it will change. And I don't know if it'll start with a G or something, but I hope to again capture. Glib seems to, it's just what came to mind when I was originally writing this story. I just typed away, didn't really care about names. Maybe I even just put Boris Town 2 in the original story and replaced it later in draft 2 or something. But maybe I can go back to draft 1 and see. What did I write in draft 1? I wrote, so it's just BWOH name. BWOH is the code name I've given to my larger work. So the state of BWOH name. So that's what I did, I remember. And then later there's more names that I had to figure out, which there's an inn, and inns have cool names. I couldn't think of one as I was writing, but in draft 3, I've named it the Glib Garland Inn, and Tavern. So he was drinking at the Glib Garland Inn and Tavern just outside of town. Why would it be outside of town? Well, there's a huge road that goes right nearby this town of Glib, and the road goes through the forest. It cuts the continent in half. It's it's the King's Way, if you go up all the way north. So I've got this whole continent, this whole world kind of constructed in my mind, and I've got to get it out in writing, or I'm gonna see it disappear as it dies slowly. I replace it with other thoughts and other things. But before that happens, I've got this short story. I've got things figured out. Now, what I've been working on mostly in my free time is a completely different story that has nothing to do with this world. Although that story is fiction, fantasy fiction, is set in a sort of fantasy world as well. I'm not sure if it's the same world on a different continent or if it's a different world. I didn't really think about the world because for me, writing is not about world building. I don't really delve into that too much. It just sort of happens, and I like to get the reader, not get the reader, but I like to show the reader what kind of is going on around the characters, but the main focus of my writing is characters themselves and their development and the things that they're going through and how they deal with those things, those challenges or blessings or whatever. So that's really important to me. But I don't think that I'll mix the stories, although I could. The character in this other story that I'm writing mostly these days is, I'm just trying something new with him. Yes, I predominantly write about male characters. I'm a male. I understand men mostly, not women. Although in the larger project that uses the world that Boris is in, there are some female characters that I will write about. It's going to be a challenge for me because I'm not a woman, and I don't think I understand completely that world. But something really important for any writer is doing research. And no, I'm not going to go out and get a gender change just so I can understand women, and I don't know if that would help me understand them completely enough to write about them. But I can write what I do know, and I have sisters, I've had girlfriends, I have a wife and things like that. So I know what women are. I know the basics, so I can try and maybe get an editor to help me with that. Maybe a female editor could help me with that later on. So as you can see up here on the top right, there's a word count. So this is a relatively short chapter, 3,253 words. It will change and fluctuate, the word count, as I edit it. But as you can see here, there is a red line under this word, which I hate to see, especially when I'm writing, but it happens a lot, and that's okay because it lets me know that I've spelled something wrong. But when I make new things, I have to add it to the dictionary, like Belgranth. Although I'm going to keep it, well, I don't know if I can do that. Can I? Control. Oops, that was just the text size. I don't know if... So now that the dictionary's learned it, I don't think I can unlearn it, which is okay, I guess. If I change the name later, then it won't matter. But the real tricky thing here is the word battle mage, because I don't really know if I want to keep it as battle mage. It just starts with a B, which Boris does. So Boris came second, actually. I thought of battle mage first, and the reason it's named a battle mage is because over there in Belgranth, they train they're kind of like law enforcement for the society that they are in, but they deal with it's like a special crimes unit or something, you know. They have advanced methods for dealing with things, which would, you know, magic is not, it's not really known about in the other the more main continent that I focus on in my story. So it's when things go down, when things happen in the main continent that I focus on in my story, I want to kind of, it's a shock to the people there because magic is not so prevalent. But over in Belgranth, it's really kind of common. Although not too common, it's just saved. Maybe it's secretive, and only the people that, you know, get into the university or whatever system they use to hire people or train people, you know, it's all very hush-hush and controlled. But it's so controlled and hush-hush that the clergy don't know how magic works, actually. And, you know, religion and magic and all of that is kind of discussed in the larger project of this world, the BWH project. But for now, for what I'm doing right now here, looking at the same paragraph for 30 minutes, is this word battle mage. Now, a mage is someone who does magic, but a battle mage is someone like mages and wizards, they're kind of older and weaker, right? So battle mages are sturdy. Like this picture shows, a guy who's wearing armor, has a sword, also has magic, and that's what I'm trying to portray, someone who is wearing armor. This picture, as I was talking about earlier, does not portray exactly what I'm thinking of, because Boris is a little bit on the heavy side, a little more stocky. You know, he drinks a lot of beer. Life is not so fun for him for various reasons, and he drinks a lot of beer. So he's got kind of a beer belly, a beer gut. So his armor was created to suit that. In this picture here that I'm showing on stream, it looks like he's a very thin mage or magic user. So, but whatever, I can't create art like this, so using this is fine. But for what I do have as a present representation here is fine. Boris is a battle mage. He's got armor, he's got a sword, he's got magic. He also has boots. Yeah, boots. He's got boots. He's wearing boots because he's traveling from Belgranth on a completely different continent. So he's got to wear these sturdy boots so that he can get all the way over there, deal with this issue that he was sent to deal with because he was summoned. Someone was summoned. They sent they sent Boris because it's in a completely different continent that people maybe not want to go to. But he's almost done with He's almost reached retirement in this sort of special crimes unit law enforcement sort of deal, and before he retires he has to do this one last thing, and I didn't really get that across in draft 1, 2, or 3, and I'd like to do a draft 4. Probably here on the stream I'll start writing a draft 4, kind of looking at both draft 3 and writing draft 4 as I go. Maybe next time I'll start that, maybe not, but what is going on is that we're talking about Boris here and what he does in the beginning. He's talking to himself. What is a battle mage? Boris of Belgranth thought to himself as he trudged through the rutted streets. So, the streets are not paved. It's dirt streets, dirt roads. The main path is just a big dirt path. Wide, think of a highway, but think of it all as dirt and mud, and it's rutted by the wagons that are bearing various goods and peoples to and from their places of origin and destination. What am I saying? But it's rutted, so I could talk about each and every word of this story, so I'll just read instead. A man of great power, gained through years of meticulous training and practice, called upon by rulers and authorities of all types in their hours of need. So that's kind of the description of what they do over in Belgranth. They have people that they hire out. It's not a special crimes unit so much as it is just like a mercenary sort of system where they hire out people and they get money for their guild or whatever and earn money by using magic. So they harbor they hide all their secrets for magic so that only they can make money off of it, which is fine, fine for me. I'm not in that world. I don't have to deal with it. But the people, they're kind of, what's a good word to say? I want to say another word. I'm sure you can think of it. But they're kind of screwed, right? Out of dealing with their own problems with magic. They have to rely on these battle mages or what other organizations there are. And there are other guilds and other organizations. There's thieves and whatnot. It's kind of like thinking of Skyrim. There's the game Skyrim and the world. They have different guilds for different types of people and programs that they got going on, which is a great game, and it's a great world and very fun fantasy. But in my world, there's less focus, at least, on that and more on the characters. So let's talk about Boris some more. A man who needs to relieve himself. Quickly, Boris needs to relieve himself. Boris wore the flowing silken robes of his magical order over the chest plate and chain skirt of battle, which had been designed to fit suitably over his burly beltline, with room to breathe so as not to cause any discomfort in travel or in skirmish. Ow. Got my elbow on the desk. But despite the absence of both today, there was a discomfort present nonetheless. So the absence of skirmish and travel, well, I guess he's already traveled to this tavern, right? So he's not traveling per se. There's no travel happening, but there's also no skirmish happening. But he's uncomfortable nonetheless because he is bloated with beer and needs to go to the bathroom. So let's read on. I really should not have drunk all that ale last night. Boris continued thinking to himself as he reminisced about the wild exchange of coin for beverage he had engaged in at the famously boisterous Glibgarland Inn and Tavern, just outside of town. And I think that's where we'll stop today. I know I looked at that earlier, this paragraph, and got to the tavern name, but I'd like to, sort of do this in sections, and as I do it, I have to deal with this audio problem, and I have to deal with some other technical difficulties streaming is something new to me, so I have to troubleshoot some issues and then come back next time. And I'm also out of time for today. I got to go eat dinner and deal with life and stuff. So I've enjoyed this, I guess. It's gotten me to talk and sort of explain things. And some of the things I said now today weren't things that I thought. They just make sense as I'm speaking. So that's what I hope will happen as I write, that things will come out. And as I expect, that's why I'm talking like someone is listening, even though no one is right now, because I want to think through things in a way that, because readers are real people, they will see my writing, and I hope to make my writing better as I prepare the story itself for people live. That's going to help a lot, I think. So until next time, Taiwan Tim out.